your eyes, open your mind, listen to the call, your soul,
Ignorance is not something we see when we look at the trees, feel the breeze or even sneeze. It manifests not as the blue in the sky, the ability to fly, or the so-called overwhelming complexity of the human eye. It is the inability to analyze, a paralysis of analysis. Ignorance is blinding. It provides no finding and allows us to put everything on fate as we continue to surrender to a physical and psychological rape with our hands, feet, and mouths bounded by tape, perpetually censored, and even with services rendered, never given the privilege of escape. Ignorance means knowing little or nothing, being uninformed about a particular thing, making it hard to understand. An ignorant person can be a very dangerous man. You see, ignorance is the man who walks in social embrace and maskless in the streets. He screams COVID-19 is fake to everyone he meets. He articulates with confidence, oblivious to the daily strains hospital staffs endure. Ignorance is the indiscipline that distances us from developing a cure. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops, 4. Another unsuspecting relative of ignorance is rushed through the emergency door.
To the ignorant, the earth is flat, and space is a vacuum filled with water. Climate change is fake, lambs for forest fires, and Category 5 hurricanes to slaughter. Always supernatural, never a natural disaster. A multitude of churches and ministries proclaiming divine promises to heal, lining up millions of hopefuls for the harvest to steal.
Ignorance never empathizes. It can never understand what it cannot feel. Its worldview is geopolitical. It's socially conditioned rhetoric that's subconsciously real. Ignorance can be divisive and self-serving with hate. Paranoia with delusions of grandeur, pretending to be great. Ignorance is ignorant, and I was ignorant to the ignorance we propagate. So much knowledge to assimilate, but now I am awake. We are products of the university broilers, a factory line or mental asylum, releasing scores of chickens running around, headless, definitely blind, deaf, and dumb. Proud, inanimate objects on the chessboard. But who's playing chess? Predicting our steps, establishing our threats. Ignorance does not necessarily equate to bliss. But how can you exist in an abyss of knowledge, constantly bombarding our docile neurons with great force, yet you maintain that stubborn poise? Hand in hand, in ignorance, we are perpetually empty, like barrels that make most noise. But what is the remedy? The first-line treatment regime is right in front of us. Knowledge is the cure from which we can be redeemed. It is like food, a vital nutrient that will make us grow. We become taller than trees the less we believe and the more we know. Strong and firm, unable to be uprooted, with a voice that penetrates the impenetrable and that can never be muted. The mind is a machine that should be frequently fed. A machine without its fuel is useless. A mind void of knowledge is ignorant and might as well be dead. I'm addicted to knowledge, so I try hard not to miss my meals. I invite everyone I know to the table to enjoy the scrumptious cuisines. To have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we would dine in style. To consume fairy tales and myths. Come take a sip of the wide varieties of the immaculate child. Just a sip. It is a potent concoction that would get you high. As I scan the table for fried philosophy dipped in oyster sauce, I noticed no one touched critical thinking. To them it's expensive, but I don't mind the cost. I eat so much people say I am obese and crazy. But why judge me when your mind is lazy? You scream, you are a megalomaniac, a man with impossible dreams, yet you devour the everlasting paradise of milk and honey, with streets lined with whipped cream. Yes, I know it's delicious and succulent, designed to hide its visceral effects, bamboozled by its aroma, the taste on your tongue reminiscent of sex. Your eyes roll back into the subconscious, absent in everything that you do, pulling on your soul like an intellectual glue. Subjectivity needs to give space for objectivity to flourish. For if subjectivity is a beast, then objectivity becomes malnourished. I understand the sense of comfort and security it provides, but don't be gullible and eat everything without any form of mental exercise. Let's get fit on truth instead of morbidly obese on lies.
Ignorance is overflowing with knowledge, from your toes to your neck, but the head remains empty because you forget to fact check.